Yes.
We're here. We're going to be doing this little, we're going to be having a conversation. I'm hanging out with my friend Tamar Medford, and
I'm hanging out with my friend Lane Kennedy.
And we're hanging out with Brock Bevell. And I'm super stoked to be having this conversation. You can already tell we're in the flow of things here. I can't top that story, Brock. I wish I could.
No.
I wish I could.
Well, when you open your podcast up talking about poop, I mean, it can only go so many different ways.
Right? We could talk about poop here. We could.
Oh, I got stories.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This specific topic could lead to poop.
It's poopy. It's a poopy topic.
It is a poopy topic.
Everybody does it. So why don't we talk about it? Why are we so timid,
It's one more thing that we don't talk about.
Exactly.
Poop.
Like, if you need to go, you need to go.
It's true. So my friends, thanks for being here. This is the Now What Society. I started the conversation off saying my stomach was a little off, and we got sidetracked on this conversation around poop. But really, we're here to talk about a really serious subject matter. And I don't know where to start. Tamar, do you know where you want to start?
I've got some notes.
Okay,
because it's one of those topics that, we're talking about fentanyl, and I am so grateful that I got clean and sober 10 years ago, because I can't even imagine what life would be like today, because I wasn't afraid to put anything in my body. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that scares me. That is probably a huge reason as to what scares me the most to relapse, is because I'm one of those people that I'd be like, well, I've screwed up my date. I'm just going to go all in, right? I'm going to do everything while I've relapsed. So, I remember having surgery, and I got a shot of morphine, and I just remember it like flowing into my body and thinking, wow, this is amazing. But fentanyl is so much stronger.
In morphine, 60 to 100% more. So let's quantify it this way. If you are in a traffic accident and you break your femur, which is the biggest bone in your body, you get transported to the hospital. On the way to the hospital, they're giving you morphine. Okay. Which you feel nothing. You get some morphine, you're like in la la land. The problem is you get fentanyl. And if it's that much more potent, 60 to 100 times more potent, think about where that's taking you.
Yeah. Out of your mind.
I can't.
Out of your mind. So we're talking about this serious subject matter because I had my first conversation with my son. He is just days away from turning 13. And we are just about ready to celebrate his birthday, and his birthday happens to fall on Halloween. And Brock posted this article over on Instagram about fentanyl and Halloween candy, or no, it was what was it? The little Skittles
bag.
Skittles. And I freaked the F out. I was like, whoa. So I had this conversation with my son, and I thought, this is a conversation that a lot of parents need to be having with their kids right now. We need to open this conversation up. And I'll tell you, Brock, Tamar, it was not an easy conversation. This is not the conversation that I wanted to have with him. And he was like, whoa, what is my mother talking about? He knows that I am a member of a 12-step program. He knows that I am in long-term recovery, but this was out of his league. But I felt it so important to bring to the table, because when you showed that stuff, I was like, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. So Brock, I want you to share a little bit about yourself, a little bit about how you got involved with the work that you're doing, because I know you're doing such good work. You're on the front lines. So I give you a warm welcome and thank you for being here. Let's hear from you for a while.
No, this is awesome. I'm so excited. I was actually going through my phone really quick because I wanted to give you a glimpse of what's really happening. So my name is Brock Bevell. Like you say, I own Victory Recovery. It's a counseling center where we're helping men and women heal from addiction. I got started because I was a police officer working narcotics, working in some of those type of cases, and I was run over. My injuries were so severe, multiple surgeries, multiple medications, multiple doctors. And because of that, I got hooked on opioids. And I got hooked for 10 years. the thing that makes me the maddest is I injured my knee in a foot pursuit early in my career, started taking opioids, and I knew I liked them, right? I could feel it, but the desire, the purpose to get back to work overshadowed everything else. When I sustained my last injury, I went to the doctor and the doctor told me, Brock, you're a cop. You won't get hooked on this stuff. And I remember him saying that like, it was like, okay, carte blanche, right? I'm not going to get hooked because I'm a cop, so I can take as much as I want. Then what happened was they retired me because of my injuries. And then I started self-medicating because I liked the way it made me feel. It quashed all that other pain. Physical pain was there. Yeah, a little bit. But it was the mental pain that the opioids, the more opioids I took, the better I felt. So that's who I am. I'm on the front lines of this opioid epidemic, this fentanyl epidemic. And I guess that just means I talk about it. Right. I mean, I've testified in court about it, in federal court. But the thing is, like, parents don't understand. And I appreciate you, Lane, for talking to your boy, 13 years old. The problem is, if you're a parent out there and you're like, well, when should I have that conversation? Now.
Yeah, it's now.
It is. And it's the same thing with, like, when do we have that sex conversation? It's not comfortable. But when we start talking about it, they're like, Dad, Mom, I already know about this stuff. I already know about it at school. And that's the problem. We're about 2 years too late. It's the same thing with our government. We're too late on this fentanyl epidemic. It bombarded us so fast that now we're like, oh, damn, what do we do? And so that's kind of what I'm glad that you're talking about. I'm glad you're having this conversation. But parents, you got to jump on today.
So let's back up to the opioid crisis for a moment, right? And how fentanyl has suddenly taken over or infiltrated street drugs.
Everything.
Right? How did it transfer? How did it sneak in there? Or were we just blindsided by it? Like, give us some more information.
I mean, there's so many ideas about this, but basically the traffickers realize it's a supply and demand thing. We demand it, they supply it. And what's crazy is you never hear about these guys that are using heroin for 30 years dying.
No.
Right?
No.
We have OGs that are used heroin for 30 years. Well, you're not hearing that. You're not going to have this fentanyl user of a 30-year fentanyl user. It's just not going to happen, because what they're doing is the cartels, the traffickers understand that they can smash fentanyl into any drug out there, including marijuana. I don't know if you saw it yesterday, but this article, 3 students hospitalized for ingesting homemade candy. And it was from cereal.
What?
And they smashed it into the cereal. These kids did it yesterday. And it's just, and then the other one, this is brand new fentanyl that just came out on the streets. It looks like the old certs, right? The candies, the mints we used to take. And so what's happening in the Skittles thing and in the runt bag, the cartels know that they got to mask it. They got to get into the US. Are we going to find fentanyl in a Halloween basket? No, that's not what they're doing. What they are doing is they're using anything to mask fentanyl to get it inside the US, in candy, in boxes of cereal, in runt box. I mean, whatever it's coming across.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you what my son asked me.
Okay.
He said, how are they getting it? How are they making it? How are they creating it? This is what he was talking about. He's like, what is the actual drug, Mom?
Awesome. So check this out. So we know where heroin comes from, right? It's an opioid derivative.
Yep.
So it takes years to prepare opioid. So you're getting heroin. It's a lengthy process. Within the next couple of years, you'll never see another opioid plant.
Why is that?
Why?
Yeah.
Good question. Fentanyl is a synthetic heroin. It is made from chemicals.
Yeah.
Okay. There are no plant-based in this. It's all chemicals. They use multiple different chemicals that are created in China. The US knows that's where the pharmaceuticals are coming from. So they're in a liquid format. They're coming from China, being shipped to Mexico. And in Mexico, they're being put into powders. Okay. These powders are now placed in pill presses. So think about a pill press. The last I heard is they can kick out about 20,000 pills an hour. So they put these chemicals together in a pill press. They make them the color. They put the stamp on them. Everything that looked like just an oxy, right? So they stamp them. They come out and they're just kicking out. So if you look at a fentanyl pill, an illicit pill versus a real one, there are little differences, but you're not going to be able to tell. So the cartels are getting these chemicals. They're putting them into these pill presses. They're kicking out these pills. That's why you used to see an arrest of 30,000. Oh, we seized 30,000 pills. We see 17,000 pills. Now, if you Google fentanyl over the last probably month, 2 months, 2 million, 4 million, 5 million. And that's what we're talking about. And these pills. And for your son's case, because I think this is really important, we call it the chocolate chip effect. This is because these guys in Mexico, they're not pharmacists. They don't know, they can't quantify all these drugs. They don't know how to weigh them out. They're not perfect at mixing a pill. Like you get a hybrid, like an ibuprofen, it's the same thing every time.
Yeah.
Right? There's no difference in that ibuprofen.
Yep.
Same strength, same pill, everything. Well, fentanyl was absolutely different. I love chocolate chip cookies. But when I get a chocolate chip cookies that doesn't have chocolate chips in them, I'm like, what the hell was that? Like, why am I biting into a chocolate chip cookie and there's no chocolate? Have you ever had that happen?
Yep. Oh, it's the worst.
Think about this. Yeah. These pill presses, they just drop fentanyl and they drop this powder as needed. Well, you think about it like a chocolate chip cookie. One pill, one cookie may have 50 chips in it. One pill may have 1 chip in it. And so that's what the scary part is you may take a pill that was made in a different batch and it had 60% fentanyl. You take a pill and it has 10% fentanyl. You die, you live. So when the DEA are seizing these pills, 4 out of 10 pills contain 60% or more fentanyl in it.
Jesus.
So when you talk about Russian roulette, that's what you're doing. You don't know because these cartels, I mean, they're not trying to kill off their people. But check this out. If I'm talking too much,
you're doing great. You're doing great.
But this is the interesting part is in the US, we have guys that are dealing. The guys that are overdosing their clients. So the drug dealers that are overdosing their guys that are buying from them become the hot commodity because they have the hottest drug. So people know they're overdosing people. So users go to that person because they want the strongest content available.
That's crazy.
Wow.
It's crazy. Thank you. It's crazy, but we've all been in active addiction.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are we doing? We're chasing.
I want more. I want more.
High.
I want it stronger. I'm going to him or her, whoever's dealing. So my son, going back to his questions, right? Thank you for all that, because I'm going to relay this to him. I'll probably let him listen to this episode, honestly, because we talked about, he's like, how come the government isn't stepping in and saying enough is enough? How come he again, his mind is just like blown open right now around the subject matter. And I said, because we can't, it's not a drug company that is making this. So they can't regulate it. They don't really know where it's coming from, so how come the government, so I guess the question is, how come the government has just said, this needs to go off the market completely?
Such a good question. And, I don't know if you've been watching, but there's senators all over the US that have written letters that implored our president to make it a weapon of mass destruction. Do you know that fentanyl, that opioids have killed more people than COVID, heart attacks, traffic accidents, all combined? 107,000 people last year lost their lives. That was last year. And you know as well as I do, the numbers are off. They're skewed. Here's the reason. Is we talk about this Narcan, right? Narcan is saving lives, but there are men. I want to get back to your question, but this Narcan is important, and we have an issue with the numbers. 107,000 people, because there's guys that are going to the hospital from overdosing. They get treated, they get okay, they kick them out the door, and they go and overdose again. I know officers that have used Narcan on the same person 7 times in a week.
Jesus.
And they're still alive. So the government, so here's what you're thinking. It's really political, because we know it's coming from Mexico. It's coming through China. Those two countries are the biggest providers. We've begged them, please make it a weapon of mass destruction, because if they're using that, then we as a country can act differently. It's an act of war, right? And
that's heavy. Just having you say that, an act of war.
Well, it is. I mean,
like it's that's like, whoa. Okay.
Do you know there's been more fentanyl deaths in the last 3 wars combined?
How is this possible? I mean, how come? Okay, keep going with this. Like, how come nobody's not doing anything? I'm just kind of like,
so those are good questions. So a second thing is, we've identified the 2 cartels in Mexico that are creating it, making it, advertising it. I mean, everything. We know who they are, yet our government refuses to make them terrorists, because you know how we act towards terrorists. If that cartel, if it's an act of terrorism, then we're going to go take them like we did Osama bin Laden. We're going to use force. That's the problem I have is, wait a minute, you're allowing Americans to lose their lives, but you won't act on their soil. We're willing to go kill a man in Iraq, in Afghanistan, but we won't. So it's very political. And that's the problem, is our government is not taking this stuff serious.
Okay. So it's an act of, what did you call it? An act of
war?
A mass destruction, a lethal weapon?
Yeah. So there's senators that have asked to make it a weapon of mass destruction.
A weapon of mass destruction. Okay.
And hold that thought. Let me tell you why.
Yep.
In 2002, Russia has made fentanyl in an aerosol and have used it against their own people. So there was an incident where some terrorists kidnapped a bunch of people. A Russian hit squad went in, busted in, used fentanyl to knock them out. Oh my God. 100 of the terrorists died.
Yeah.
Okay. So fentanyl is not just the drug you ingest, but it can also be used as an aerosol and a weapon of mass destruction. And see, that's what our government, it's so bad that our government just placed sanctions against China last month, saying, we're not sending you guys fentanyl anymore. So if we know that you're going to get me pissed off. Yeah. This is what pisses me off, because we see it everywhere. Our government knows about it, but we're okay that these young men and women are losing their lives. That's why we're talking.
Okay. So how do we get it to become a weapon of mass destruction? How do we get that? Like, is it about awareness? Is it about putting the flag up and having people vote? Is it like, what makes that happen?
Well, it has to be voted upon. It has to go in front of the Congress, and it has to be voted. Okay. And the problem is, it's being ignored. It's there. It's sitting there. People are talking about it. I mean, if you read the news, the DEA is begging them, please make it a weapon of mass destruction, because now we can act as a country differently.
Yeah.
We can use more violence. And I know that sounds crazy, but man, okay. So everybody wants a piece of this pie, right? And we talk about like prevention and information and education. Those are the pie. Those are the big words that people are using. But in my mind, I wanted to hit the other side. Like, I think we need to be proactive. We need to infiltrate this, and we need to execute, right? The problem is, when I worked undercover and we found somebody dealing like this, we went after them. We attacked them. We did search warrants on them. We stopped the problem. Yet we're not doing the same thing on the higher levels. So it pisses me off.
This is nuts.
It's nuts.
It's nuts. Thanks for giving all that information. Tamar, I know you have a question.
Yeah, well, more a comment. So my dad and I are actually doing a documentary on Beyond Recovery. And one of the interviews that we're doing is, I don't know if you've heard of Dr. Fentanyl. And so he was a doctor. And if you look it up, George Otto, and he was a family physician. And he was actually working with a pharmacist to bring fentanyl. And he had quite a booming business of fentanyl distribution. And he was actually sentenced to 12 years in prison. But because he was released, he ended up fleeing, and now he's a fugitive still, right? So that's also part of the problem, is that's going on, and there's so much to it.
Okay,
Yeah,
wait,
crazy.
wait, Tamar, wait. Oh, wait. Okay, wait. You guys interviewed him?
We didn't interview Dr. Fentanyl. We had interviewed a father whose son died from the distribution of his drugs. He went to prison, got clean, come out, and then ended up using and died right away.
Oh my God.
So the father tells the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
It's insane.
Lane, you know, fentanyl has a medical use, right? You've heard of a fentanyl patch. So instead of taking an opioid orally, you can take this patch and put it on your body. Like when I had surgeries, they started giving me those fentanyl patches. And the craziest story is when I was going through my active addiction, I had a buddy come over to my house and say, "Wait, you got fentanyl patches?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't use them." He was like, "Can I have them?" And I'm like, "Yeah, take them." And so I didn't know at the time, because I didn't need fentanyl because I was getting prescribed as many opioids as I wanted.
Right.
He was he was using the patch, and he was taking out the solution from the inside of the patch and then shooting it up.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, that is desperate. But again, as an addict, I know desperation. So I guess I want to get clarity on it has to go into the bloodstream or the mucus membrane. It has to pass the mucus membrane, right? So it has to be smoked, snorted, injected. Can it be eaten?
Yeah, I mean, you can eat fentanyl.
So when you eat it, because I guess the kids ate the gummies, right?
Yeah, the gummies are making suckers out of it. I mean, yeah.
So it can, any way it goes into the body, it's going to have an effect. And possibly, as you said, you're playing Russian roulette with it every single time.
Yes. The one disclaimer is touching like picking up a piece of fentanyl is not going to kill you.
Got it.
Like, it's not going to go through your skin that quick to kill you. But you did see last week, the officers back east, they got in a fight with a guy. He removed a white powdery substance from his pocket and threw the fentanyl or threw the powder. They're searching. I mean, but they both, one overdosed, the officer, the other one started to overdose, and a nurse that was off duty had 2 canisters of Narcan, drove up, administered it to them, and saved their lives.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, I mean, in powder form thrown at them, I'm sure it went in their eyes and their mouth, their nose.
Yep.
Immediate.
So you don't really know how much time you have either then after ingesting.
No, you don't. And here, this is something for your son. This is kind of sad that I want parents to understand. This is you understand that stats change all the time with the number of deaths, but the last stat I heard, that 66% of the youth that are dying,
oh my God,
are dying in their homes, in their rooms.
That makes me extremely uncomfortable.
And I can't tell you the amount of ladies and women and men that I podcasted with where their son or daughter has died, and that was the case. They go to a party, they take a pill, they don't know what it is, right? But their back hurts, they have anxiety, whatever. Their buddy says, "Hey, this will make you feel better." They take it. They start feeling a little queasy. They're like, "Hey, I'm going to go home." They go home, they go into their room and die. And that's it, because nobody even sees them overdosing. Yeah. And then they come in the next morning and they're dead.
They're done. Anxiety, for right now, all the COVID kids, I can just see how this would be an easy, here's a pill, this is going to help with your anxiety at school, right? Just friend to friend. They have no idea. It's devastating.
This was even scarier. I actually talked to these detectives in I want to say it was Ohio. I have to look at my notes, but they found pills that were stamped. They were white and they were stamped with the Tylenol logo.
Get out of here.
Side to side, they looked exactly like a Tylenol, 60% fentanyl. And that was the way they were masking. They were stamping it with the Tylenol.
Mm-hmm.
So think about your daughter. Hey, I got cramps. You go to your friend. Hey, I got some bad cramps right now. Do you have anything? Oh yeah, I got this Tylenol.
Yep.
Your child thinks, oh, this is great. This is a Tylenol. It's going to help me.
Yep.
They take it and they die.
Oh my God. So really the message here, and this is not only for parents. I mean, I think this is an episode for everybody to hear that, we're living in a world where this is a possibility. We're going to all know somebody who dies from this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And one of the other things I wanted to mention is, I feel like it's so easy today to prescribe painkillers. I was prescribed oxys when I was younger, and I actually had a guy that said, "Can I buy those off you?" I'm like, "Why would you want to do that?" I'm going to have them all, right? Because I was not going to release those. But we interviewed another gentleman whose son is on the streets as a heroin user and using fentanyl because he went to the dentist and got prescribed oxys and became an addict. And that's a scary thing, right? It's so easy to here, there's some pain. And I think people need to be really mindful if they've never experienced painkillers before, that awareness that, hey, this could happen to you, right? It's not because people think, well, it's never going to happen to me. And I know lots of people who have fell into addiction later on in life because of that.
This little conversation right here about the pain and going to the doctor or dentist, right? And they ask you, and Brock, you could probably speak to this, on a scale of 1 to 10, where's your pain? And then according to that number, they automatically just give you the opioids.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm at 10. Like when I'm a user, I'm always at a 10.
But this is the thing. It's when you're in that situation, it's always going to be, I'm at a 10. So they're going to prescribe to you. So for our listeners, I think it's just bringing that awareness of how addictive these substances can be. And then the long-term effect. Like I have not met one person that has not gone on a pain medication who has not gotten addicted to it.
Well, I mean, how many pills do they give you? Think of that. I mean, I have a shoulder injury that I need to get taken care of, and I'm scared to death because here's the first thing I'm doing. I'm telling them, guys, I can't take any pain medication.
Yeah.
Nothing. So whatever you got, give it to me because and so that's a legitimate thought. So you need to be aware of that. The problem is in America, though, we're kind of a soft country. And let me tell you what I mean by that is there are times, and I interviewed a doctor, and she was the one that kind of put me in on this, is we never know if we're in pain or not. Because when we go to the doctor, the first thing they want to do is give us opioids. They want to get us out of pain. Well, we take those for so long, we don't even know if we're in pain anymore. Right? Well, where's your pain level? I don't really know because I've been taking opioids. Right. And so that's kind of a fear is we need to know that.
Yes. I have a very, very dear friend of mine who got stuck in this trap, and they couldn't differentiate the truth from the false anymore. Right. And they didn't realize how addicted they were. 5 surgeries later, a wrecked marriage, cars broke, like how everything, tore up because they didn't realize, like they didn't have the pain, but they were still on the medicine. And it's like, oh my God.
But Lane, I want to clarify that there is a major difference between physical pain and mental pain.
True.
And there's a massive chemical hook that comes with these opioids. I was out of pain way long before I was out of this pain. Like my pain that I was masking it with. And so that's the problem is there's no mental health evaluation that goes along with it. Because if someone would have come in and talked to me and said, hey, bro, can we sit down and talk? Yes.
Yes, that is it. The trauma, right? We are a community of trauma survivors here. And nobody is talking about it. I mean, we just lived through a couple of years of COVID, that is effing trauma.
Yes.
Right.
Trauma
is trauma. No matter what, the body doesn't differentiate, somebody yelling at them, or, I'm going to hate to say it, but the sirens on the street, it's trauma, and we need to be talking about that. So what do we do? What do we do, Brock? What do we do? Where do we go?
Educate. We talk to our kids. I mean, really, nobody's coming to save us. Let's be honest. In your home lane, nobody's coming to save you.
Yeah.
You're it. You're it. And so my thing is education, education. I mean, and talk to your kids. Like, even my kids are like, dude, Dad, we talk about this all the time, and give your kids an out. And what I mean by that is, when I worked undercover, when I worked as a cop, I always told my kids, guys, use me as an out. If you ever need a way to get out of peer pressure, use your dad. Your crazy ass dad is going to test you. My dad will test me for drugs and alcohol. So I'm not doing that. So am I going to test them? Probably not. But do they have an opportunity to get out of that situation? Like, we call it a no shit plan. Our kids need to know this. They need to have a plan when they go to these parties, when they go to their friends, because they will be peer pressured. They will be asked to use drugs. They will be asked to use alcohol, and there will be sex around. And so those are some things that we really got to talk to our kids. We got to armor them. We got to power them up. Right. So if we can give them a way out of a situation, we may save their life. Oh, hey, if you get a pill, guess what, man? My dad said he's testing me this week. I just cannot do it. Is it a lie? Maybe not. I don't care. Does it save a life? Yes. So having a plan, going with the buddy, having somebody with you. Don't ever take anything from anybody. If it's not prescribed, don't take it. Right? Don't go to these rainbow parties where these kids come in. You know what a rainbow party is, right?
No, what is that?
So rainbow party is when you come in, you bring all of your parents' prescriptions.
No.
Dump them in a bowl, right? You mix them up, and then kids come up and they scoop them up, take them, boom, drink it. That's a rainbow party. They just mix a bunch of drugs. The problem is you don't know what you're getting, but these kids are willing to do it because of the peer pressure. Oh, I was told to bring my access into this party is prescription medication. Boom, here they are. I stole these from my dad. And so these rainbow parties are super scary. I mean, they're happening today. We hear about them all the time. And what happens if fentanyl accidentally gets inside of there? People are dying.
Dead.
And these are not overdoses. Please, we use the word overdose so people can understand. These are fentanyl poisoning. Has nothing to do with an overdose.
Weapons of mass destruction.
Mass destruction.
That's what it is. That's exactly how that's my new term now.
It's crazy.
If I could just one more bit of counsel.
Yes.
Social media.
Oh God.
Is the new trap house, Tamar.
What?
Okay. You know what a trap house is, right? We've all been in these crack houses. We've all bought, we've all been there.
Yeah.
Social media is where our kids are finding the drugs. And this will be good for your listeners. When I sold and bought drugs as an undercover cop, there was some danger involved. It was sketchy. Like, I had to find the guy. It had to be a covert operation. I had to meet him at his place, whatever. We had to go into some shady crap and trade money for drugs. And there times where guns were, it was crazy. But today, a kid can go on social media, Snapchat, find a plug, which is your user, have the deal set up, the drugs delivered to your house and paid for, all without making contact verbally.
How is that possible?
Wow.
All through social media.
How are they paying?
Emojis.
How are they paying?
Grubhub. Or any of these other delivery systems. They're setting it up on their phones to where it looks like Grubhub. It looks like,
and how do
Amazon. This is better than Amazon Prime. This shit's coming to your house, to your door.
How do they get it to the house?
They drive it. It's set up.
Get out of here.
The drug dealer never even has to see you. You do it on your phone. They send you an emoji. You respond with an emoji. They send you an emoji. You get the emoji. Yep. and you pay for it all online. And if you want, I mean, I can send you the, like, how kids are doing it with the emojis. Yeah, the DEA has actually put out pamphlets on these emojis themselves too. So it's not like this isn't super secret stuff. This is how our kids, we used our own language. Tamar, when you were buying drugs, right? You had a language. You never said the word cocaine, like, you know, white chicks or whatever you used as yours, right? And our kids are doing the same thing. They're smart. They're using their phone, social media, boom, and they're getting it. And Snapchat is the most dangerous. So one warning to parents, guys, it's okay to look at your kids' phones.
Yeah.
It's okay to have that connection. Is it invasion of privacy? I don't know. Do you pay for the phone? Do you have that relationship with your kids? Give me your damn phone. I want to see what the hell you're doing. Come here. Let's talk about this stuff.
Okay. I got to tap on that for a second, because I just got a notification from Google, because my kid is turning 13, that it's all access now. At 13, he has all access to everything. And I thought, no, I do not want him accessing everything.
No.
Right. It's like I have to be the police of my own kid. Right.
Nobody's coming to save you.
Nobody. I love how you are saying this. Like, nobody, no, we are. Oh God, Tamar.
You're liable. And I can't tell you how many parents are like, Brock, I'm not looking through my kid's phone. My kid would never do this.
No,
not my kid. And guess what? Your kid is the one that's overdosed. And after we've talked on the podcast, they're like, that was my thinking. I thought that was the greatest parent. No. But our kids are, like you said, their kids are struggling. They have mental health issues and they want to talk about it. But as parents, we don't have that relationship. Think about what we did when we were kids that our parents never found out about.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
They're doing the same thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was out of the house at 12 years old. So I was out when at my son's age right now, man. I was drinking and using, right? Already.
Tomorrow's
you know, I think because my partner, she checks her kids' phones. She randomly will go into the room and said, give me your phone. And they know, right? So they know this. But I think about to the time when I was using, I mean, when I got married, my husband's like, we're moving. You're not going to be in the same place. Like, it'll be more work for you to get in touch with your dealer. So we actually moved away because I didn't know anybody in that city. But I can't even imagine now how accessible it is. Right back then, it did curb it for a little while until I managed to find somebody there. But like, that blows my mind. I can't even fathom that. Listen, I would probably be dead.
Yeah, I am in this work every day. Okay. Yeah. And I had a guy hit me up asking me if I wanted to buy Adderall on Instagram. And I'm like, listen, I'm in this. This is what I do. And I'm getting asked to buy. So if I'm getting asked, your kid's being asked.
That's not okay.
Yeah. And it's kind of fun, right? You think about, I got this covert thing going and this guy's texting me and damn. I mean, that's just, there's a ton we can go into, but for your listeners, they just got to know what's out there.
I think that's it, right? It's like letting people know that this is happening.
Yeah.
And
the problem is everybody wants to see what it looks like. Every day it changes. You know, I mean, first it looked like methamphetamines I mean, it's in everything. So it's always changing colors. And the cartels can change the color today. It came out a couple weeks ago, a fresh new batch of purple fentanyl was coming out. And if you look at my Instagram, you can just see the pictures of it.
Yeah.
It's not secretive. I mean, they're doing it just to mask it and hide it and make it look funner.
I tell you, that Skittle thing just really freaked me out. It just makes me so uncomfortable. And I will continue to have conversations with my son. I wonder if this is a subject matter that should go out into the school system, right? Is this a conversation that they should be having in the classroom?
Yes. And in Arizona, we are in the classroom. We are in the schools.
Okay.
They want us to dummy it down. They want us to use
No.
PC.
Why?
That's the problem, right? They want us to, you can't say certain words. You can't show. So check this out. I have a mom, and I should send it to you. I have a mom in a town next to me. She was an ER nurse, and her daughter passed away from fentanyl.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked her, I said, can I have the 911 tape?
Oh,
Because I want the kids to understand the problem is the trauma that fentanyl is causing isn't just you for overdosing or for you for having the poisoning.
yeah.
It's the trauma cause. Mom went in there and found the daughter.
Oh my God.
The younger brother came in the room as well and saw this. And so the voices, the screaming, it's difficult to listen to. And I let them listen to it the first group. Yep. And they came in and said, why are you guys using fear tactics to scare us into not using? I'm like, bro, this is real life shit. This is what happened. This is a lady in the community next door to you guys, and it's happening. We don't want you to use it anymore. So, and I, it's hard because I'm like, man, this is what keeps us from this education. This is real stuff.
So they're not letting you use real life.
Real life. Yeah. And here's another question I have.
Yeah.
Lane, go to your school where your son goes and ask them if they have Narcan on site.
I will.
Ask the nurse, do you have Narcan? Because we just had a school. I mean, it just happened in Hollywood, 4 kids overdosed. We just had a school right here in Queen Creek, a young man overdosed on fentanyl. Jeez. And it's like, as a parent, you have to have it. Yeah. It's not, should I carry fentanyl? It's, I need to have fentanyl just in case. And it might not be my child, but it might be then the kid that comes and visited and he's in the house and I walk in there and I see him overdosing.
Should I have Narcan, not fentanyl?
Narcan. Sorry. Narcan. You gotta have Narcan available on you, in your possession, in your purse, at your home. I mean, I have like 4 or 5 in my office just in case someone comes in. I mean, it's just important to have.
Okay. So let me just ask, because again, totally new. This is a new conversation for me. So I can get this on Amazon?
You can't. You have to go to a pharmacy. It's still somewhat controlled. You have to go to a pharmacy and get it. But you can walk up to Walgreens. Hey, I need a thing of Narcan. Okay. And you can just get it through your insurance. Super cheap. I think it's in some places it's actually free. Okay. Yeah. So I can walk down to Walgreens and say, I need some Narcan, and I should have like two on hand. Yep. One in the car. Yep. And one in my bag. That's it. Carry it. Have it. Yeah. And it's not if it's going to happen, it's when it happens. I mean, 107,000 people are dying. Right. So we're all affected by it. Right. Our lives are being touched by this drug. Yeah. This trauma is bleeding all over us. Right. Okay. So we have some homework for our listeners, I think. I think one of the questions or a little assignments that I would like to give our listeners is to ask your school if they have Narcan. Like I'm going to ask mine. Another little thing that we can take away from this conversation is perhaps finding the language on how to speak with your little one, your kiddo. It's like, here it is. This is the truth. Brock, do you have a class that you do or like a webinar for parents or anything like that? We don't. No. Okay. We don't have anything like that, but I would be willing to help out if you want to put one together. Let's do it, yeah, for your groups. I'm so vocal about it. So everybody that knows me knows, but I think that's an incredible question. And then the second question, if they don't have Narcan in the school, why not? Well, why not? Why not? Yeah, why not? Why wouldn't you have it? Because how many kids are dying of this? 107,000. Well, that was last year. I bet you we're going to be closer to 150,000 this year. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. This was a heavy episode. Heavy, guys. Heavy because this is a heavy subject. This is, real life. And that's what we do here at the Now What Society is we talk about subject matter that is difficult. It's challenging, things that we don't want to talk about. We want everyone to feel comfortable talking about them. Tamar, what are you going to do next with this conversation?
Oh, I'm going to go grab some and keep it on me because a lot of people here do. A lot of people have it in their car, in their purse. It's very common here. And, I've always been like, well, I have a pretty isolated life now. I'm in the house doing my thing. But for those times when I'm out, I mean, it could save a life. So yeah, I'm
save a life.
I'm going to do that. That's my homework to myself.
Yeah, it could save a life. I just think about that nurse who had it on her with those two policemen. Oh, just it's so wild.
If you don't mind, Lane, this conversation that you're going to have with your boy.
Yep.
And one of the reasons that I don't script questions is because your relationship with your son is going to be different than I have with my daughters. Right. So you got to know your people, know your tribe, know how to talk to them. With me, I'm straight up just like, hey, this stuff's going to hit you in the face. You're going to be seen by it. Let's have this conversation. And both of my daughters have heard about it and heard it at school. So it's not a secret. One's in
How old are your kids? How old are your daughters?
One's in 8th, one's a junior in high school. And then I have 5 of my own these are my bonus kids. And I have 5 that are gone. Okay. Right. And so they're in it. They're inundated with it. And so they're hearing about it. So they're like, oh, we've had this conversation. I'm not getting involved in this. So just the conversation is not easy. It's like having the sex conversation with your kids the first time. It's clunky, man. It's like, what do I do? Right. How do I broach this? And so just be fearless and have this conversation.
It is about being fearless. And that's who our listeners are, right? We are a community of driven women trying to make the world better. And really just, wow, I'm stumped. I'm makes me angry. I got to tell you, just makes me angry that we are living through this time and that I have to, nobody's coming for me. Nobody's going to protect. Just the way you said that, like I have to be the advocate. I have to be the watch guard. Man, it's huge. Would you rather, Tamar? Do you have one?
I don't have one. Do you? It looks like you do.
Okay, I'm going to make it up on the fly.
Okay.
Brock, ready?
Let's go.
Would you rather eat ice cream every day for the rest of your life or have your favorite ice cream tonight for the last time?
That's easy. Tonight for the last time. I'm not an ice cream guy. If you would have said sushi, I'm the rest of my life.
The rest of your life.
It's the rest of my life. I can have it 3 times a day.
Oh my God.
Ice cream, just give it to me one more time and I'm cool.
And you're done with it. Oh,
done.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is.
I just about went into shock.
No, one time. Especially when cake and ice cream are together on the same plate and they're mixed. Oh, that's so bad. Oh,
no, it doesn't work for you. Doesn't work.
Nope.
I don't know. Because I'm trying to clean up my eating, I probably would want the best for the last time. I could think exactly what ice cream I'd have.
Oh man, rainbow sherbet.
Oh no,
rainbow sherbet.
I know, it's weird, huh? I think I'm the only guy.
I'm a fan, but not a lot of people like it.
Yeah, Sherbet's Rocky good. Road rainbow sherbet, 2 scoops from Thrifty. That's me. I don't know why. Yes. It's the weirdest thing ever. My wife's like, that is so weird. I'm like, it's delicious, but
it's so
just
good.
One more time, I'm okay. Yeah.
I think I'm the crazy one here. I'm the one that's going to have it every day for the rest of my life. I just don't even know why. I don't even like it that much. But the thought of giving it up. Oh, no. Yeah.
Okay.
Man. Brock, thanks so much for hanging out with us and being a part of this conversation and doing the work that you do. I'm just so thrilled that I know you and that you're a human. You're a human being.
Thank you, ladies. It was an honor to be on here and to help you.
Yeah.
You guys are beautiful people. Keep it up.
Thanks. For all of you listening, for our listeners in Costa Rica or Japan or in Prague, just thanks for being with us. And, wherever you're at in the world, this is going to be a conversation that maybe you want to have with just your girlfriend, right? Start there. Have you heard about this? Do you know anything about this? Bring it up to your partner. What do you think about this? And join the community and talk about it in the community. Yeah, I'm so grateful. Tamar, thanks for hanging out with me.
Lane, it was a pleasure. Thanks for hanging out. And thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us. And yeah, join us next time.
We'll see you next time.